more shimmery. God! It's so hard to say goodbye. Welcome to the longest video that I've ever had to film. First, thanks for stopping by at my channel, guys. Really appreciate any new watchers out there who's watching me. So, yeah, this happens to be the longest video that I've ever had to do. It's going to be done in 2 parts. It's my makeup collection, and I'm actually surprised I've had to do it in 2 parts. Now, I wasn't sure how long to make the video. 2 parts seemed to be sufficient. I've seen other videos which up to over an hour long. I'm trying to keep this under 45 minutes. I'm almost at the 45-minute mark, so I do apologise if it seems a little bit too long for you. I do not go on and on about each product. I do go through them quite quickly, so you're not sitting there bored out of your mind. But if you're like me and you like to see people's makeup collections, then hopefully you're going to enjoy the video. It's a highly requested video I've been asked to do. It's been by one subscriber. She knows who she is. She wanted me to do the video, and I just thought myself it might be quite a nice video to do to show people my collection. It's not a huge collection. I haven't got wall-to-wall makeup in my house, but it's enough. It's enough to make me swallow and maybe get a little bit hot under the collar. It's a substantial amount to me. So I hope you enjoy it. Is there anything else I've missed? So the second part of the video is going to be on lipsticks, highlighters and liquids and face palettes. I hope I don't forget that. So yeah, so this is part 1. I didn't do it in any specific kind of order. I'm not a pro at doing these types of videos. It's the first time in doing this type of video, so again I apologise if it's not up to standards, but I hope you enjoy it. I won't keep you any longer. Please hit that subscribe button, give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you soon. So I guess it's best to start off with foundations. So this is my foundation collection, which I mainly keep for myself and clients, and then I also have a separate collection in my kit, which I won't show you all that today. It's just too much. So I'm basically just showing you what's in my own personal collection, what I use on an everyday basis and on clients as well. This needs to be hurry up and used up because I just don't like the applicator on it. And but the foundation itself is not too bad. I don't hate the foundation. This one doesn't do a lot for my skin. This I mainly use on clients. These two come in so handy when it comes to mixing my foundations. This is the Ordinary. I've got the serum one and the full coverage one. I like to mix and match these. If you're ever stuck on a budget for foundation, I really recommend the Ordinary. Their foundations work perfectly fine, and they have a huge shade selection. So yeah. So I have the NARS Natural Radiant Foundation. This is a little full coverage for my liking on its own, but I do use that on clients a lot. That's my newest edition, the Dior Skin Glow. Got my Backstage and Body, my Forever Ultra HD, YSL All-in-One Glow. I've got 2 of these, I love them for the summer. And then I got the Skin Feels Good, very, very good. Value for money as well. I think it's like £29 for this one. YSL All Hour Foundation, the Marc Jacobs. This one, I loved it at first because I was all about having full coverage foundations. I still think it's a extremely good full coverage foundation, but for maturer people I don't think it's very flattering when applied too heavily. It's got an amazing amount of staying power, but on its own it can look cakey and heavy, and it definitely feels like you're wearing foundation on the face. This is like full beat concrete. You don't want your makeup to budge. I don't really know what I did to it to destroy it, but it's very, very messy. I don't know if I've somehow damaged the when you open it up, it just comes out everywhere. So I've really messed it up inside. It's a mess, but like I said, it's got its pros and it's got its cons. I won't be getting rid of it. It was expensive, and I do like to mix it with foundations when I really want that long lasting full coverage foundation. It's a good one to use. Oh, I'm so happy. I've actually tidied up my foundation shelf. I'm so happy. This has given me like a really good reason to clean because everything was getting so dirty. The only stick foundations I have is these here. So you've got the, this is going to be a shaky video, I'm afraid. This is the Iconic London. It's a little bit yellow for me. This is the Hourglass, my favourite stick foundation in the world. That's again a little bit yellow for me. It's in the shade Nude. And then I've got the oh, that's Contour, forget about that. And then the other one I've got is the L'Oreal Infallible foundation stick. I don't mind this. The coverage is not the best. It's like light to medium coverage, but it's very, very creamy and blendable, so I do like it for a quick option if I'm going to the gym. I don't have a whole bunch of stick foundation. I wouldn't say they're my most favourite kind of formula for foundation, but this one I definitely want to repurchase again in the correct shade. I think I'm going to actually put my camera on a tripod. That might be a bit easier. Duh! Okay, that's better. That's a lot better. So, primers. Should have started with primers first. Sorry, guys. So, I don't have too many primers to show you. This one here, this one I think is excellent for blurring out pores, but it's so thick. It's like seriously extra thick. I don't know how I feel about this, to be honest. I don't know if I like it or don't like it yet. It can be hit and miss. Sometimes it does ball up when you apply too much, but for a blurring primer, this does it. Like for real does the job. It's like a thick cream basically, like so, and then once you rub it on it feels really smooth but quite heavy to apply. It's not a lightweight primer at all, and it does an amazing job at blurring out pores. I don't know if you can see that on camera, but I do find it quite heavy and quite thick, so I tend not to use that one a lot. This one, I got this just simply because I saw Makeup with Jar using this a lot on her clients. I find it a great all-rounder for a moisturiser slash primer. Embryolisse Latte Cream Concentrate, I think it's called, but yeah, it's a good all-rounder. I use that a lot on clients. Then I have the YSL Touche Eclat Blur Primer. I tend to use that for when I'm going out. I used it on my last video. So I don't have a lot of primers, but I love this one. This one actually I enjoy using this one the most just because it feels the best on my skin. Some people might find it has too much slip to it, very, very greasy feeling. I like it. I like the way it makes my skin feel extra soft. Plus, it just looks like a really fancy bottle. Haven't had any issues with that at all yet. Then my other new addition is the Bobbi Brown vitamin enriched face base. I know a lot of people swear by it, so I thought I had to try it for myself, and yeah, I do like it. It's very, very nourishing for the skin. Do like that a lot. Won't talk too much about each product, otherwise we're definitely going to be making another video. And I've got the regular, the old Too Faced Hangover primer. I like this a lot. Not had any problems with it. Nice and moisturising. Good primer. And then I just have a little mini MAC strobe cream. Just a little miniature size one I use every now and again. And that's primers done. So face powders, that is pretty much it. That's all I have. I've got the Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Finish, which is almost... That is amazing. I feel so satisfied when I see that. That's what we want to see. We want to see people using their products. So yeah, I do use that a hell of a lot. Then I have the Old Faithful RCMA powder. I've had that forever, and I do use it quite regularly. Kiko Milano. This is called Soft Focus Foundation. I've had this for a while, and I refuse to get rid of it just because I think it's amazing to give you extra coverage. If you have like a nice sheer to medium foundation, but you want to give it a little bit of mattifying effect, then I go in with this. Focus on me, camera, focus. It's a little bit too heavy to use as a loose powder because it's definitely a foundation. So it comes like that, colour's good, and then you pull it off and it has this giant poof thing which you're supposed to pat on your face. I tend not to use this. I find this a little bit of a waste. I just tend to use a brush, go in with a brush and blend. But yeah, and then obviously my most loved one is the Hourglass Veil. When this was released, I grabbed it, and it's a very good loose powder. And I think that's really, I mean, if anything, maybe I need to purchase a few more face powders. It's one of the things which takes a little while to get through, but yeah, that's really all I have for face powders. So here is my best kept drawer, and this is basically everything I have in this drawer. All my sponges, which I'd need a wash. Whoops, let's get them off camera. It's not that much. Like I said, my whole collection isn't out of control, although I find myself struggling to pick what I want to pick. So instead of getting each one out individually, I'm just going to pull out a tray and go through quickly what's in them. Okay, so here we go. This is just a mixture of bronzers, highlighters and blushes. So I'm not like completely organised when it comes to, I don't have enough makeup to categorise it into blushes and bronzers, but this is my basic organisation for it, so it's not the best. So we've got let's start with this one here. So we've got the butter bronzer, which everyone loves. I'm actually finding it a little bit orange for me lately. I don't know, I just find it a wee bit too orange for my liking. Then I've got the L'Oreal Life's a Peach blush in here. Then I've got my favourite finishing powder, the Hourglass in Dim Light. Love that, I use that a lot. Oh my god, I've got so much mixture of stuff. Then I've got my Too Faced Chocolate Gold bronzer. I use that for bronzing and a little bit of contouring. I think the shade, it feels so rough in the pan, but it's definitely got more of a beautiful, I prefer this over the butter bronzer, but it's just got a little bit of a shimmer on it. I love using this in the summer to warm up my face. I love it. Then we have a MAC blush, which is from the Patrick Star collection. I didn't keep the eyeshadow, I just kept the blusher. So yeah, I did get rid of the eyeshadow quad which came with that. Gorgeous blusher, really nice shades. This part isn't really pigmented, but this one is, so you have to be careful, but overall it's a great blusher. It's gorgeous, I love it. Then I have this Urban Decay Beached bronzer. This one, I don't use it a lot because I just find it doesn't really show up that much. Let me have a look how good that is. Yeah, it's just, it comes out initially, but it takes a bit of a while to show up. I find this one quite similar to the butter bronzer. This is just a really old eyeshadow quad, which is from Avon. This has got a couple of everyday colours in there, which I find handy to use. And then on this side I've got the Morphe Glitter Fever eyeshadow glitters. These are amazing. I should use these more often, but I always tend to forget about them. And the colours are basically your essential colours you need to do an eye look. It's got the champagne, the silver and the black sparkle. I tried to use one yesterday as a liner. I haven't necessarily tested them out properly to see how good they do for transfer. I've got black all over myself. So, I mean, it's the pigment and the opacity and the glitter is there. You can't deny that. But I haven't worn them all over the lid to do a proper test. I have used these on certain occasions. Silver one is amazing, so pigmented. What we should do is see how long it takes for these to dry down and see how much they move around. I thought I'd done this one, I haven't even done this one yet. This is crazy. Okay, so this is just the Smashbox. I won't include that because that's eyeshadows. So here's my famous Kevyn Aucoin blush, which I always use. So these are mainly blushes and highlighters now. And then we've got the MAC one, which is called Sweets for My Sweet. Gorgeous shimmery pinky blush. So that's the Sweets for My Sweet blush. And I've got the Cover FX bronzer, which is very warm, and it's got a shimmer to it. I use that for in the summer as well, if I don't want to use the Too Faced Chocolate Gold. Then I've got my Fenty Beauty highlighter Killawatt in Sandcastle and Mint Mojito. I've been definitely using this a little bit more recently, which is good. I need to definitely, because the quality is gorgeous. They're so soft and buttery, and yeah, I definitely need to use this a little bit more. I did use this on my eye the other day. I've got the Barry M Baked highlighters here. Still really love these. I use these all the time. Then I've got the Wet n Wild Precious Metals highlighter. This I use probably more than the Barry M when I don't know which highlighter to wear. It's that one here. It's not the best highlighter I've got, and I just love the colour because it's just so universal.
Miss Mosley, there are some packages for you.
Oh, is this some PR? Yeah, right. I don't think so, darling. Here is my baby of, just got these delivered in the post. It wasn't PR, people. I'm not that good yet. So, going on to this. This is my loose eyeshadow drawer. Mostly eyeshadows, a couple of other random stuff in here. I won't swatch everything. That is it for the eyeshadows. I think that's good. I don't think that's too much. I find that a nice amount. For a pop of colour. You always need, I think, some loose shadows in your collection, because some palettes just can't deliver on packing a punch. So I always have these as backups. I don't want to get a whole lot of loose eyeshadows, just because you can quickly drown in them if you're just buying too many. So I've obviously got my Hourglass Scattered Lights, which I won't swatch. I've just swatched them on a previous video. And then I've got my Kiko's, these right here. That's a beautiful, beautiful green. Where can I put that? I'm going to put that right there. One of my best greens to wear. This one is what I tend to use for a highlighter. Well, I used to use it for a highlighter. It's called, it's in the number 200. And I always use this as one of my highlighters back in the day. I don't know if I'll continue to. I haven't used it for a highlighter for a long time, but it's like a gorgeous champagne colour. Let's see if the Morphe glitters are gonna move. Okay, so they've dried down quite nice. They're good. They've dried down, so that's good. I'm impressed with those. So I'll get rid of these. So now we can go back to showing you the eyeshadow swatches. So this is my Christmas present, and it's such a bugger to open. It's one of my all-time favourite shimmers to wear. This arrived completely broken when I got it. No, this is not the broken one. This is the replacement they sent out to me, and it's already looking messed up. How did that happen? So anyway, this is Dose of Colours Block Party in the colour Tell Me More, and if you haven't seen me use this and you haven't tried it, it's a freaking gorgeous, sick colour. It's beautiful. Oh, it's like a mixture of black and teal together. Gorgeous for going out. Then I have this Kiko Glitter Shower Shadow. So this is not a bad one. I did buy another one in green and passed it along because the green was nowhere near as pigmented as this. This is like a straight up gold glitter, but it's very, very, very good. Whoops, I'm sticking my middle finger up. It's a pure gold. It's gorgeous. So yeah, amazing quality. Look at that. This is in the number 04. Then I've got some glitters. I'm not going to go into these. These are just like my loose glitters from Glitter Eyes. But these are amazing. I can't live without these. I always need them at some point or another. Then I've got these stupid little, I don't know why I'm calling them stupid, Barry M ones, because that's when I wasn't into buying loads of makeup, I always started off with the Barry M pigments. When these first got released, everyone was like, oh my god, they're so good, they're so good. And they are good, they're not bad. Gunmetal Grey Black. And it's almost finished, so that's good. But obviously you need to stick some kind of, I mean, they're beautiful and sparkly. Oh, I just spilled some. But I find now with Barry M pigments, like they just rub away very easily, so like it's gone now. So yeah, I need to get rid of those, don't I? Not very good. Barry M, think I'm going to declutter these. Oh, I can declutter something. I'm so proud of myself. I am so proud. I hope I don't spill them all now. Right, so here is my mug, Makeup Geek green in the colour Voodoo. This is a crazy green. I call it the Incredible Hulk green, just because it's like one of the greenest greens I've ever seen. It's very, very pigmented. The quality is really good, but it's just not a green I can see myself ever using again, maybe in festivals or Halloween, so I won't get rid of it because it's a good quality shadow and it does perform really well. But I've got my Colourpops, 7 Colourpop shadows, so I don't have a whole bunch of them, but my favourite ones to use at the moment from the Colourpop is this one here. Is really, really gorgeous, from the Make-A-Wish. It's called Warrior, and it's very similar to Dose of Colours. It's more of a blue though, but it's got that lovely sparkle to it. So yeah, it's a different type of shadow to the Dose of Colours, but it's still gorgeous. Look at that, that's gorgeous. And then the other one which came with it, this is called OK. I freaking love this one. It's just the most lovely sheer shimmer to wear on top. Oh, I love it. Then I've got these 2 L'Oreal eye paints. I bought a whole bunch of these about, I don't know, last year in the summer sometime, and they've dried up pretty quick. So I've kept the ones which are still decent, which is the orange one. These dry into a powder and it's like a matte colour, and this is a really nice silver. No, I'm not getting rid of that, that's decent. One of my old favourite Kiko blue eyeshadows. Here comes the blues. This is in the colour Arctic Holiday Collection 03, and it's probably very, very, very similar to my other blues, but oh, beautiful. This little baby, I've got another one of these in my makeup kit. It's one of my favourite colours of browns to wear for a shimmer. It is a shimmer, but it's just a gorgeous, gorgeous taupey brown. I love it. So that's the end of that tray, and the other parts I've got like some tape, eye tape, tweezers, eyelash glue, and that's about it. And the rest of the stuff in here really is like, I've got glues, which I use for all of my pigments and glitters. Then obviously one of my newest additions, my gorgeous Bobbi Brown highlighter palette. I don't use this a lot. I do tend to save this. For best. I think it's gorgeous. Both shades I wear religiously for highlighters. I got this on sale, and I like to see swatches. So they're quite subtle, but they're really, really gorgeous to apply on the cheek, and they do make your skin look wet. You probably can't see how gorgeous it is on camera, because I can make that look quite out. I can make it look extreme on my face, but if you don't like that, this is perfect for the job. Absolutely perfect. It's a subtle, good quality, doesn't show texture highlighter. My Morphe blusher. I have another big palette. I think it's the Warm Master palette. I have that as well as this. Love this. Then I have my small Huda Smoky Obsessions palette. Then we have an old blusher palette here, which I will never get rid of because I just can't seem to bring myself to get rid of it. It's quite old. It's about 2 years old, and I just love the colours of the blushes. I don't know. It's called, I don't know, Clara Cosmetics. I've never heard of it, but it's decent. And that is the drawer of secrets, the drawer of wonders complete. I have just decided that I'm going to make the video into 2 parts. I haven't even got around to concealers, lipsticks and highlighters, so I think I'm going to leave that for another one. I'm going to finish off with eyeshadow palettes for this one. So I've got all my palettes in here. I've just took some out and put them on here. So that's the first drawer out, and also I did have some at the back on my vanity over there. This drawer is my lashes drawer. Got all my lashes in there. I love them. So that's basically all my palettes. That is nothing. That's like a quarter of some people's collection. But for me, I find this overwhelming. I do. I don't. That is why I'm really not wanting to buy any palettes of 2019. We are in February now, and I have to. I'm admitting straight up, I'm struggling not to buy any palettes. There's been about 2 or 3 which has popped up, which has caught my attention. But I keep trying to remind myself to keep a promise. Unless you do it for a living, like for a job, where like a really huge YouTuber, where you're making so much money, you can just pass it along to friends and family. I think that is fine. But when you're such a small channel and you're purchasing all this stuff yourself and it's sitting there going to waste, I don't think, I can't really justify that. These is what I keep in my kit because I don't use these a lot. I need to declutter this because I never use it. I just need to get rid of it for real. Let me just see how they look on the arm. Yeah, I think they're too powdery, too chalky. Is it time to get rid? Should I say goodbye to it? It's so hard to say goodbye. Can't make up my mind. This one, everyone loves this apart from me. I just find it, I'm not even going to bother swatching it. I'm not a big fan of the Kathleen Lights Dream Street palette. Then I have the small Urban Decay Basics 2. I won't ever get rid of it. It's good for travel. It's got your basic everyday colours in there, and it's just a nice travel palette. Then I have the Naked Original, which is probably my first palette I ever bought. It's just been discontinued now, and I still find it handy for clients when I'm looking for a certain colour and I don't have, so I won't be getting rid of that anytime soon. It's less. I bought this less than 2 years ago, so it's not that old for myself. The Morphe, what is this, 350M? One of my go-to palettes for browns. I use it quite a lot. My Jaclyn Hill palette, which I got last year. Nice. I'm not decluttering any of these. I'm just showing you my collection basically. My Smashbox Petal, Cover Shop Petal palette. This is a cute palette. Love that. I use that quite a lot. Smashbox stepped up their game with these little palettes here. Absolutely stunning. Like proper, oh, I love them. Beautiful, beautiful colours. Really good quality shimmers, and the mattes are really pigmented as well. Then I've got my Too Faced Just Peachy Mattes palette. This is a well-loved palette from me. I haven't hit pan on hardly any of my palettes. That is how I know I have too many. This one here, Too Faced I Want Candy palette, was one of my presents from last Christmas, 2017. Haven't hit pan. Beautiful palette. I never use it. I never use this one, and it's got all of my like go-to colours in. This one here, love. Pigment's really, really nice. The Sugar Plum is a beautiful colour as well. It's like a light mauvey purple. Love it. Need to use it more often. Then I've obviously got my JolieBomb.com palette. This is just full of glitters, and I use these for any occasion, festivals, Halloween, or just to have a spot of colour. It's got every colour I can think of in there, and yeah, that's not going nowhere. Not the best quality for pressed glitters, but it works. Look at that pink. That is calling my name. So we also have the famous 35B palette by Morphe. This is really good for colour. Haven't used it for a long time. It's mainly for people who want a colourful look, but yeah, this is what I tend to go to for colour. I'm so angry. I cannot believe I wasn't recording. I managed to steal this from my daughter basically. She got 2 of my palettes for me to get my hands on this one. I think I enjoy it more than her, and I've just done some swatches on my hand ready for you to see, because I thought I was recording the whole freaking time and I wasn't. And yes, it's a gorgeous palette, and I'm glad she let me do swapsies, because look at that. Just the look of the palette alone and the colour story in it, I think that's what made me gravitate towards it a lot. Then we have Dose of Colours Pretty Cool palette. These little tiny piddly things, which I think is a little bit expensive for what they are, but quality 10 out of 10, and the colours I use for a smoky eye, like browns is my thing. I wouldn't have bought it if it wasn't on sale, let's put it that way. I wouldn't have paid full price for this. I don't think it's worth it. Then we have the Kim K palette. KKW Beauty. One of my favourite palettes to use, and I don't hardly use it at all. The choices, what they put in this palette, I just think they complement each other really well. You can create some really nice eye looks. I think the quality is good. Oh yeah, they are soft. Let's do some mattes. Should we do a matte? Yeah, the quality is there when it comes to this palette. Gorgeous. But as you can see, like, a lot of these colours get repeated. Yeah, I like the quality of that shadow. The blue, obviously, everyone loved the blue, which is there. I think last time I did a palette collection, a palette video, I think I had like 18, and I haven't counted them again since then. So obviously here's the pretty rich, bulky palette. I like this. I don't think it's bad at all. It's not as good quality as far as the shimmers. The shimmers in this palette ain't all that. But I love the fact that they added the glitters in there, because they do add a nice touch to an eyeshadow look. The mattes I think work really well, but the shimmers are just a bit of a letdown compared to the Too Faced ones. I like the fact they've got the glitters in here just to mix it up. And I haven't even used that beautiful blue yet. I need to use that blue colour here. It's not the most pigmented, but it's a nice colour. Look at that. Then I've got this amazing Marc Jacobs palette, which was given to me by a friend, and when I first saw this on YouTube, I was like, oh, that looks really nice. But there were certain pops of colour in there which seemed attractive to me. So when it was given to me, I was so grateful, so appreciative. And then once I opened it, and this is me being honest, because I don't tell lies, I do not tell lies, I thought, it's nice, but the price that this is actually worth, I don't know if I would have paid that myself by the look of it. And then I used it, and I was blown away at how the quality was. Like, to me, the shadows in this are just as on par with the greats up there and the Natasha Denonas, in my opinion. I haven't tried any Pat McGrath, so I don't know, but I swear when I first used this and dipped into the mattes, the colour payoff was so instant. The mattes alone, I'll just do a couple of the mattes, they're so smooth, like they feel like, yeah, they do crumble a little bit, but they are so pigmented. Some of the best matte formulas I've come across. This gorgeous eye topper is amazing on the lid. It's so pretty. But look at that. Gorgeous. It's just, oh, so soft. Now this reminds me of the MAC Blue Brown, which people like a lot. It's like a duochrome with purple, brown and pink. Such a good palette. Like, I love this. This baby's not going nowhere. So we've got the two Juvia's palettes here. We have the Festival. Absolutely fell in love with these when I first got my eyes on them. And the colours are amazing. It's gorgeous. These are like literally brand new. I just got them for Christmas. And I've never had any of their palettes before. My only issue here for me personally, is it hasn't got enough like light mattes in there. I mean, that white is like amazing, and then you've got this gorgeous teal colour as well. It's so bright, beautiful. And then in the Saharan 2, you have another turquoisey teal, which I'll put next to it. Let's see the difference in these shades. It's more shimmery. god. I love me some eyeshadows. So we've done these. So we've got the nude. Definitely still enjoying using this. I don't use it a lot, but it's getting used. I think definitely worth the purchase. I won't be buying any more pink palettes, I don't think. No, I'm not. I don't even care if they have different shades of pink than the new nude. I'm not doing it. Obviously, my baby, this takes pinnacle to all my eyeshadow palettes, and it is because of the price and the quality and the colours. It's like, what could you not love about this palette? It has all the browns, all the golds. I think it's so worth the money. I think the quality is amazing, and I love the colours. I love it. If you've never seen one of these in action, Natasha Denona, so buttery, beautiful. You know, you here for the swatches. I love her shadows. This is just like a dark teal. Oh my god. And you got a matte there. Amazing. Just all amazing. Never get rid of that. Then I've got my Z palette with my mixture of shadows in there. I will not be going through these. The Blue Magic, I bought this specifically because I love blues, and I think it's more pigmented than the Kim Kardashian one. But I never ever use it. It's like, why? It's definitely the same as Kim's blue, but maybe slightly more shimmer than my my Tarte Aspen Avard palette. Ooh! Which I got given for free because my friend didn't want the broken one. This is a beautiful palette. Sassy, date night, bridal looks scream to me with this palette. Great palette to use. And that's it. That was exhausting. Yep, that is all my eyeshadow palettes. If you made it this far, then you need to pat yourself on the back, because it killed me doing that video, and I'm still going to upload this tonight. It's now like, what, almost 10 o'clock at night. It took me forever, so I hope you can appreciate the hard work that I did put into this video. It was a very, very hard video for me to do. The amount of editing alone took such a long time, but I will be back later on this week with part 2 to my makeup collection. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon with another video.